So I thought I would show you what that looked like in terms of the implementation component of it. Here are some photos of the Three Little Pigs craft activity, some kind of images of that. And I found that this was a really good kind of launching platform to support Ella in the next stage in relation to the show and tell. It kind of had this little toolkit of her Three Little Pigs props, and she was then able to kind of spontaneously bring them into her play as she saw fit or as she wanted to. So that planning that I had done then had a ripple effect on Ella, because she was then able to kind of access those tools and props and play with them as she wanted to. And so we saw her taking on that leadership role and initiating, and then starting to show those skills that she had with her peers, which then helped for when she did her final piece of show and tell. The implementation kind of just showed how I planned and then how it developed, and then kind of the final implementation of an activity or an experience to kind of be able to compare end to end.
So in the implement phase, obviously, this is where it all comes together. The observe, assess, and plan all comes together, and we actually do what we said we were going to do. If you think of the planning cycle in a circle, the observe and assess starts to come back in onto the implement phase. So when we're implementing, we're also observing the children, engaging in the learning experiences that we have planned. So we're taking more observations, which leads to more assessment, which, as Victoria's then said, leads to further plans. We're doing some more observations, which is then leading further to some more learning experiences. And so for this assessment task and across the course of your placement, we want to see that progression of, here's what I initially planned, and it might just be one learning experience that you've initially planned, or it might be a couple. Here's what I initially planned, and when I implemented it, I observed the children doing that learning experience, which then led to this one and this one and this one. So the circle just keeps going, and it kind of starts to come in on itself a little bit. When you're writing it up, also, we want you to talk about the teaching strategies and the differentiation that we're going to think about. So then in implement, we want to have a discussion about the strategies that I planned, and here's what actually happened. And often when we plan, we go into these learning experiences with all these great plans of, this is what I'm going to do as a teacher. But quite frequently, we'll start off, and then the children will take it in a whole different right angle direction. We think we're going to do, farm animals in the Play-Doh, and we have the farm animals, but then someone's got a car from the block corner and they bring that over to the Play-Doh, and it goes in a whole different direction. So if that happens, that's fine. We roll with that. That's part of the role of the teacher, and that's what I want you to talk about in the implementation phase. I also want to note that if you are taking photographs of the learning experiences that you've planned, making sure that there is not one tiny part of a child in any of those photographs.